For thousands of years, humanity has been obsessed with gold. I mean, truly obsessed. But what if it wasn't just about the shine and the sparkle? What if our ancestors were after gold for a reason so big, it could rewrite everything we think we know about human history?
Just think about it for a second. You've got King Tut's incredible golden death mask, the massive sun temples of the Incas practically dripping with gold. You can go all the way back to the very dawn of civilization in Sumeria, and it's the same story. This deep, profound, almost religious reverence for gold. So what gives? Why was this one metal so important to everyone, everywhere?
Well, this is where things get really interesting, because we've got two very different answers to that question. There's the one you probably learned about in school, and then there's another one, a far more radical theory, pulled straight from the oldest written records on Earth, a theory that says gold wasn't for decoration, it was for survival.
Now, the mainstream view is pretty simple, right? Gold is rare, it's beautiful, and it doesn't rust or tarnish. That makes it the perfect symbol for power, wealth, and the divine. This is a story we all know and, for the most part, accept.
But here's where we take a sharp left turn. What if we look directly at what the ancients wrote themselves? Specifically, the Sumerians, one of the oldest known civilizations. Their clay tablets, etched in that distinctive cuneiform script, tell some wild stories. And some researchers believe these stories point to a much more practical and, frankly, much more out-of-this-world reason for mining all that gold.
This radical idea was really popularized by a writer named Zecharia Sitchin. He spent his life translating these ancient Sumerian texts, and he came to a conclusion that was, well, staggering. He claimed these weren't just myths. He argued they were literal, historical accounts of humanity's first encounter with an extraterrestrial race.
So who are the main characters in this epic? According to the texts, they were called the Anunnaki. Sitchin's translation of that name is pretty on the nose. Those who from heaven to earth came. Now, in the tablets, they're often described as powerful sky gods, but this theory suggests maybe they weren't gods at all. Maybe they were just visitors.
And where did these visitors supposedly come from? The theory points to a planet called Nibiru. And look, this wasn't some casual interstellar road trip. The Anunnaki were on a desperate mission. Their homeworld was in deep, deep trouble. Its atmosphere was literally eroding away, threatening all life on their planet.
And let's just take a moment with this number. The theory puts their arrival here on Earth nearly 500,000 years ago. Let that sink in. We're not talking ancient Egypt or Rome. We're talking about a time so far back it's almost geological. Long before recorded human history was ever supposed to have started.
So, what was their grand plan? It was a pretty audacious bit of planetary engineering. Their scientists figured that if they could spray super finely powdered gold into their upper atmosphere, it would create a reflective shield and patch things up, saving their world. And the nearest, richest source of that precious metal? Yep, Earth. The mission was clear: get to Earth and start digging.
But there was a huge problem. This was a massive, massive undertaking. We're talking about a mining operation on a planetary scale. The texts supposedly describe the Anunnaki themselves toiling away in the mines for generations, until they finally had enough. They mutinied. They just refused to do the work. So who was going to do all this backbreaking labor?
And right here, this is where we get to the most stunning, most controversial claim of the entire theory. The Anunnaki solution wasn't to build better machines. It was genetic engineering. They supposedly took their own DNA, blended it with the DNA of a native hominid that already existed on Earth, and they created a new species, a primitive worker. They created us.
You see, this is the idea that unlocks the whole theory. It asks us to look at all those ancient myths, stories about gods coming down from the sky, creating humanity out of clay and demanding tribute, and to read them not as religious allegories, but as the fragmented, half-remembered history of our own creation by these powerful visitors.
This theory really asks us to put on a new pair of glasses when we look at our past. The gods of our ancestors, maybe not gods at all. Maybe they were just flesh and blood beings who had incredibly advanced technology. And to a primitive species, let's be honest, advanced technology is completely indistinguishable from magic.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating and kind of chilling final thought. Is it possible that the stories our ancestors told about gods walking right here among them were actually more than just stories? Is it possible that the ancient worldwide obsession with gold isn't about wealth, but about a long-forgotten purpose? That maybe, just maybe, our deepest myths are, in fact, our oldest memories?